Irvin Studin here, Global Brief Magazine. Let's talk trade. Canada has signed on to the USMCA, United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, original name. I'm on the record as opposing that Canadian signature and certainly opposing ratification under the present circumstances. Why? I had an open letter to the Prime Minister in a Global Brief, strictly nonpartisan, strictly professional, in the interest of Canada. It was not in the interest of Canada to sign this agreement under those circumstances with this presidency. Canada has a 4-point game. You'll recall from our earliest lecture, America, China, Russia, Europe, and unfortunately, despite the great professionalism of our people in Ottawa, and particularly our trade negotiators, we were playing strictly the A game. We forgot about all the other vectors. And the United States, just slightly ahead of us in their thinking, even in their diminished political state today, was thinking along a broader playing field. In other words, their mental map was much more sophisticated, and we got caught up in their logic without thinking through it ourselves. 3 problems with USMCA, otherwise I'm perfectly fine with it. It is not that distinguishable from NAFTA, except in 3 key respects. First, it was signed under great pressure from the United States, tariff pressure, and the threat of further tariffs. That threat was not extinguished. That is, in signing, we still have at least steel and aluminum tariffs hovering over the country, and particularly over parts of the country, and the threat of further tariffs if and when the president so divines because of his capricious nature. We cannot have possibly signed a good deal under that type of pressure without extinguishing the pressure and getting the president or the Americans to realize that they are messing with a country that can resist and that is a tough customer. That is why I say that we could only have signed by making them feel the pain. Instead, we signed under pressure without relieving the pressure. And all of these other countries about which we were not thinking will have noted that non-resistance and the ability of other countries to make us feel the pain in their interests. Ergo, our present conflict with China, wait for our conflict with Russia in the northern space. Problem for Canada. Second point, Article 3210. Despite the interpretations or the, I would call it the bromides of certain people who say that this does not militate against Canada ever signing a free trade agreement with China, I would say that is rubbish. It does militate entirely against Canada ever signing a free trade agreement with China for the following 2 reasons. 1, the United States would never allow it, and 2, China would never allow itself to get into a free trade agreement negotiation with Canada under any circumstances, knowing, gaming as it were, that the American legal umbrella over us in Article 3210. We should never have agreed to that. It surprised me entirely as a close analyst of these things, someone who prides himself in following it. It was imposed on us through an American logic. We didn't resist, we didn't think it through. We'd have great misery escaping it, and we should have an equal to equal relationship with China as we should with all of these countries without hurting our general friendship with the United States. So that's the second point. The third point is our partner. The United States is our great ally, our great friend, but these are deep relationships that can be vitiated by political conflict. In the event we have a great political difference, whatever one's political stripes in Canada, we have great political difference with the behavior of the current American president. He's disrespected Canada. He's applied great pressure on Canada. He's not looked at us as a sui generis partner. And in the event, he is a highly capricious, largely not trustworthy partner, which means we have signed over under great pressure all our entire diversification ability and the ability to have an equal relationship with the Chinese to a president who is nowhere near as invested as we are in this agreement. Indeed, vis-a-vis the Mexicans, he's at least rhetorically threatened to either reverse the agreement, close the border, impose tariffs, and our time will come for the same logic. We are entirely invested, we don't have the same counterpart, and every other country in the world is diversifying or trying to guard against that capricious pressure from our American partners, our American friends. just as we have entirely invested ourselves there for lack of this correct mental map. So 3 points. The tariffs and the pressure, both in and of themselves and for the signal they send about Canada's ability to resist under pain. 2, Article 3210 should never have been there for our own self-respect and for our future in this 4-point game, and particularly vis-a-vis China. And 3, our partner. Let's find a better presidency with whom to negotiate as equals. Let's make them feel the pain, and let's have a mutually beneficial agreement.